A certain Owl had yet another historic performance this week.
Find out the latest records lining the resume of Bernard Pierce. Owl Sports Update starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to Owl Sports Update. Alongside Time Weisenbach, I'm Lindsay Keeler. Stay tuned to find out what Temple coach underwent a makeover.
But first, Temple traveled to Ball State to try to exorcise the demons left from the Toledo game 1 week before. Let's get right to the action. And we start off with a Chester Stewart pass that found Joe Jones for the 26-yard touchdown. That capped a 14-play, 71-yard drive, and Jones tied his career high with 5 catches on the day. The defense was hunting for the goose egg, and Steven Johnson helped out with this sack of Ball State quarterback Keith Wenning. Then Vaughn Caraway got into it, and Matt Brown really liked that hit. Isn't he adorable? It was a rough day for Wenning. This time Tahir Whitehead gets the strip. Wait for it, boom! He gets the strip and the scoop, and he gets tackled by the big man. Bernard Pierce wasn't done after breaking Paul Palmer's record. He broke this big gain off up the sidelines. And Stewart dropped back. He's going to try and continue the pounding of the Cardinals. And sophomore Ryan Alderman gets the big catch and gain on the swing pass, breaks a couple tackles. In the process, he cuts back, does his best Devin Hester impression on that play. And now Brown makes some noise on this 7-yard fourth quarter touchdown run. Brown had more than 100 yards on the day, and Chris Coyer then got into the game. And just like his Villanova run, he takes it right up the gut for his 74-yard touchdown run, and the Owls shut out the Cardinals 42-0.
And I sound like a broken record, but that's because Bernard Pierce continues to break records. Number 30's 3 rushing touchdowns against Ball State was enough to make him Temple's career leader in rushing TDs. His 42 touchdowns surpasses Paul Palmer's old school record of 41. With the excitement surrounding the football team, it's hard to believe that we are already halfway through the season. But Temple fans still have a lot to look forward to. There are still 4 remaining home games, including this weekend's homecoming game against Buffalo. The Owls will also travel to Ohio to go up against Bowling Green and Ohio University.
There are so many interesting stories to find on the Temple football team. One of those centers around the team's transfer tight end, Evan Rodriguez. He came to North Broad from West Virginia. Update's Laura Meminger picks it up from there.
You might know number 88 on the field, but chances are you don't know the man behind the mask. Senior tight end Evan Rodriguez may be widely known as E-Rod, but that isn't the only name he goes by.
My mom calls me EJ or Junior.
I have some for him, but I call him a lot of things, but not just E-Rod problem. I think Coach Adazio in the preseason camp used to call him Yvonne and Ivana.
Like any great football player, Evan has his own pregame routine.
I say a little prayer, a little prayer to myself, that's about it. I listen to music, be in my iPod, be in my zone.
He likes to listen to his music, walk around, and think he's like a rapper. He thinks he's a rapper. I don't know if you know that. He thinks he's a rapper.
I don't rap.
Evan Rodriguez doesn't see himself as a rapper, but he does see himself as a ladies' man.
I would say that, yeah. It's either to natural or not.
The room check at camp and him being on FaceTime, talking to a girl back home or something like that.
While Evan Rodriguez may seem like a ladies' man now, he looks for something a little more different in his future.
Owning a business, being successful, and having a family.
Last year, my son, he caught a touchdown pass on my son. I came home with my son. All my son wanted to be was E-Rod. He wanted E-Rod jersey, so Evan kept giving me stuff.
Though he doesn't quit on the field, when it comes to another game, he's at a loss for words.
He gave up on words with friends after like 3 ties. He tried to play me one time and quit. He quit after 2 words.
And as for this tight end,
I think I got a nice and tight. I think you guys can be the judge of that one.
Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Laura Meminger.
Last week we told you about Fran Dunphy's famous mustache shave, but what you might not know is exactly how this huge media event came about. It all centers around one player and a coach who both really put student in the term student-athlete. Promise between a coach and a player. It ended up being the most publicized shaving in school history. The graduation of former star shooting guard Deontay Christmas brought not only a diploma for the Temple grad, but a razor and shaving cream for head basketball coach Fran Dunphy.
It would have disappointed me had he not been able to do this because he was so close and worked so hard for it. So, in the end, am I ready, willing, and able to do this? Yeah, I'm not sure how fired up I am about doing it.
Me and Coach Dunphy, I text him like every day, and then I'm like, it's real, like he really gonna do it. So it started to get more serious, and then so that definitely was a big motivation.
Dunphy started growing this legendary piece of facial hair in 1971, back when gas was only 40 cents a gallon. And while it took 40 years to perfect, it took only a few seconds to be wiped away.
I have no idea what's underneath it. Probably had a Dunkin' Donuts donut this morning.
The mustache that has lasted through Dunphy's 13 NCAA title bids will now be remembered as a promise fulfilled by one of the winningest coaches in Philadelphia sports history.
I would do this once a year, by the way. All of our guys would do their best work in the classroom and work their butt off to get to be good students, players, and most of all human beings. We got good guys, and so I'm proud to be a part of these guys' lives.
And assuming Dunphy doesn't grow it out real soon, fans will get their first real look at the clean-shaven coach during Temple's season opener on November 14th against crosstown rival UPenn. And we have to take a break, but stay tuned to find out who is in the hot seat this week in our new Coaches on the Block series.
And there's been a lot of talk about Temple making a move back to the Big East. But what do students think of this possibility? Answers on the way when OwlSports Update continues.
Here we go. What? What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent, because kids in foster care don't need perfection. They need you.
Turning a 20-foot wall into a canvas takes vision. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
OwlSports Update with some soccer versus the Richmond Spiders. We get right into it with the save by Temple goalie Tara Murphy. The Owls started off strong with this breakaway goal in the 11th minute by senior Nikki Kahn. Number 16 leads the team with 3 goals on the season already. But then a penalty kick by sophomore Carly O'Toole in the 25th minute put the Owls up by 1. A tied game most of the second half looked like the game would go into overtime, but a goal in the final minute of the game by Richmond's Becca Wan would put the Spiders up by 1. The Owls would fall in a heartbreaking loss 3-2. The men's team was also in action this past weekend against some A-10 rivals. The Owls brought the excitement in their home opener against the Richmond Spiders when they came back from a 0-2 deficit to take the W. The second game of the weekend against GW was neck and neck, but a strong second-half performance by the Colonials would result in a 0-2 loss, making the Owls 1-1 on the weekend.
We've talked about Temple facing off against A-10 rivals a bunch in this show, but there is the possibility that Temple might need to develop some new rivals, with rumors that the Owls might be switching athletic conferences.
The rumors started on the blogs, gained momentum by various news outlets, and confirmed when the Big East admitted that they were contemplating allowing Temple back into the conference. But this time, they are suggesting letting the Owls compete with the Super Conference in all sports. The athletic office declined comment on the matter, so he took to the streets to see how the fans would react to a potential move.
The other bigger schools have, bigger recognition, bigger programs, so I guess that would kind of draw bigger crowds out. I think it'd be good games, especially since our teams are getting a lot better. Teams are really good.
You have like a lot of good schools, UConn, Providence, West Virginia, stuff like that.
The level of competition will be going up some, and I want to see them win. I don't want to see them get blown out every week, so.
Even Big East coaches are recruiting the Owls. As head basketball coach at Louisville, Rick Pitino supports the idea that Philly is Big East territory.
A really nice environment, like crowd would be crazy and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely.
But will the move affect the basketball or football programs more?
I feel in general there'd probably be a lot more like spirit, just because like I know I have a lot of friends that go to some of the other schools that are like in the Big East.
The quality of the teams are better in basketball. The basketball games are more exciting. But that's changing with Temple. I mean, I go to more football games now than I was in the past.
Is being recruited to rejoin the conference. Pittsburgh and Syracuse are moving to the ACC after this year. And Temple was kicked out of the conference in 2004 for poor performance. Then they were only a member in football. The Big East plans to have a 12-team football conference, and other candidates include Boise State, Navy, and Central Florida.
And Jason Reed has returned to his alma mater to coach the women's rowing team. OwlSports Update's Dan Wolosik caught up with the Olympic gold medalist.
You need to wake up early in order to keep up with Temple graduate Jason Reed. The 2004 Olympic gold medalist is now Temple University's new women's crew coach.
To be able to come back to your alma mater and help rebuild a program is a real honor. It was very humbling that they selected me. I know there were a lot of great candidates, and I love working with the girls. They're all really tough, they're smart, they're making nice changes, and we're going to have a great year this year. Temple rowing, both on the men's and women's side, is filled with tremendous history, and it's not lost on me, and that's what I think about every time I come down here. I want to try to instill the values that I learned from two of the greatest, Dr. White and Mike Tatey, into the women so that we can have a great year and hopefully win a conference championship.
Coach Reed is no stranger to what it takes to be a champion in the program. He rowed on the men's team at Temple under head coach Dr. Gavin White. Reed has also been on 13 U.S. national teams and will be competing this summer at the Pan American Games. He knows exactly what it'll take to get the women on that same path to success.
It's going to take leadership, confidence, commitment to excellence, and dedication. All the girls are subscribing to this requirement of winning a medal at the Aberdeen-Dadvale Regatta and winning a medal at the A10 Conference Championship.
With the return of one of Temple's most successful rowers taking over the women's team, expectations will certainly be high for a successful season this year. Reporting for OwlSports, I'm Stanley Wolosik.
Both fans will also be able to show their support for former Temple athletes at the homecoming game this weekend. Temple's 2011 Hall of Fame class will be inducted during halftime of the football game. This year's group of inductees include 5 former athletes and 2 national championship teams. And in field hockey, the Owls faced off against Philadelphia rivals St. Joe's and defeated the Hawks 4-1. The Owls also had a matchup later in the week against Wake Forest, but this time they fell 4-1.
Well, Lindsay, homecoming's coming up, and I'm not even packed yet.
What, packed?
Yeah, we all go home Friday, right?
No, Tom.
Oh, I guess we'll just go in the nest.
All right, then. I guess we'll just have to go into the nest. Volleyball player Colin Wallace has 7 double-doubles so far in the season, thus earning her A10 Volleyball Player of the Week honors. Her efforts helped the Owls defeat LaSalle 3-1.
Watch out for Bernard Pierce. At least that's what the Maxwell Club has done after naming him to their watch list for College Football Athlete of the Year. Pierce was also named Athlete of the Month by OwlSports.
Temple kicker Brandon McManus was honored with a College Football Performance Award. He is 24 of 24 in extra point attempts on the season.
And that's going to do it for us on OwlSports Update. For coverage on all things Temple athletics, make sure to head on over to owlsports.com.
For Tom Weisenbach, I'm Lindsay Keeler. We'll see you next time.